What's up and welcome to How to Become a Terrible Person, the only podcast on the internet helping you become the best, worst person possible. I'm joined by my friend Ashley Footer on all the social medias. You look like an ostrich, a very warm...
That's the best compliment you can give me.
Is that ostrich? What is that?
I think it's faux alpaca. I don't know.
Faux
honestly.
alpaca.
You know, I have pink hair now. I can wear what I want.
You can. So search for Ashley Footer to see that pink hair and that fake alpaca jacket.
This is the jacket I wore in our Christmas photo.
It's so good.
Isn't it?
Such a...
It was like $14, so...
You're so thrifty.
Sign me up.
You're so thrifty. Ashley Footer on all the social medias. I am at Pomo and Kitsch. We have a telephone number, 910-557-2871.
My New Year's resolution is to remember our phone number because I still don't know it.
I write it down every time we do this, and I write it down like 8 or 9 times on the page.
One of these months, kids, I'll get it. One of these times you'll hear me say the phone number.
Oh my gosh.
That day
so
will
excited.
be crazy.
Now, Ashley, it's 2019. Happy New Year.
It's so weird to hear.
It is.
2019.
Thank you, everyone who's been listening on iHeartRadio, on the iTunes, on the iTunes,
on the internet,
yes.
on the phones.
Thank you.
All of it.
Thank you, everyone who's texted in. We've got a lot of texts. We're going to get to them.
So many questions.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
910-557-2871. Ashley, our one rule on this podcast is we listen to a question, and if we answer it, or if we don't answer it, we
get a bell.
We ring the bell.
Sometimes it's a pity bell, but it's a bell.
You know what?
It's a bell.
It's a bell.
A bell's a bell.
Now, should we check in with our voice talent,
vacation?
Tim? Let's get into question 1, Tim.
My mother-in-law prefers my son over my daughter. How do I not punch her in the throat?
Great question.
So her mother-in-law, or him, one of the two,
yes,
prefers one of their kids over the other.
Yeah. Can
a grandma even do that?
Is
that even a I didn't even know that was
You're taking
possible.
that approach. I would say, of course.
See, and I was going to think this guy, I think it's all in his head. Can a grandma love one grandkid more? How old are these kids? Is one kid just a freaking shithead?
Right.
And that's why? Then that makes sense.
Did one just get a DUI on New Year's Eve?
Yeah, because that makes sense. But if they're both 2,
that would be hilarious.
How do you pick a more
But you know what?
grandkid?
Some little kids suck.
Which is why I hate children.
Right. And I think if it would be a bummer if you were a grandma or grandpa and you realized, oh my God.
And you've been waiting years for grandkids and you finally get a grandkid and it's a terrible.
My kids had the worst kids. What if that was something you had to live with? So
he's asking how to not punch her in the face.
Right. You know what? Actually, this seems like a good time to tell this story. I've thought about this, and by thought about this, I mean instantly this came into my head.
Grant's first crazy story of 2019. All right, let's do it.
I had a friend, and by friend I use it loosely, but he was from a bigger family of doctors.
Okay.
2 doctors, mom and dad, lived on the river in the town they lived at. Our beautiful, beautiful, 5, 3, 4-story home, big, just way too big, right? Affluent. Great people. Kid was probably 23, 24. Christmas, they went to dinner, Christmas Eve, did their whole festivities. Mm-hmm. And then they went, everybody went to bed. And hours later, when they all woke up, the kid had cut his sister's head off.
Wait,
for real, while on Christmas Day.
A 23-year-old.
So the family woke up, and this was when I was still working in the funeral business. I didn't go on this call, but I heard a lot about it. And this guy just I think it was his sister. It was either his sister. It was a woman, so it was either his sister or his sister-in-law,
a relative,
right?
In the house.
He went in and just cut it off, and that's the reason your grandma probably picked favorite kids, right? Because they can sense stuff like that. You can tell if somebody's going to cut somebody's head off in 20 years, right?
Oh, yeah, this girl I used to work with,
mm-hmm.
She had 3 kids, all under the age of 5, and one of them would, pick their beta fish out of the tank and pluck its fins off.
What's a beta fish?
A beta fish. You know, the cute little fishies you can buy at Walmart or Petco that have, the flowy fins?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, she would just reach in and pull the fins off the fish. I'm like, your kid's going to be a psychopath.
How old was she?
3, 4. That kid's going to be a murderer.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I think now the reason I told the story about the guy cutting the girl's head off.
Actually a murderer.
It was actually a murderer. I remember him being kind of like a douchey kid, and I'm not shocked that he cut somebody's head off. So wow. I think first impressions. Maybe your mom. I know Ashley's taking the totally different route.
I didn't. That's funny.
So I would say all kids could be bad kids. Probably treat them as equal as possible.
No, Grant, you're saying that one of this guy's kids is a psychopath.
Could be. I mean, if maybe the reason that guy cut his head off was because grandma liked his sister a little bit more. See that?
And it just took 22 years to
It took 22 years of manifesting and just like building, and then one night he just goes, here it is. Now, I'm not condoning cutting anyone's head off. I'm telling you this story as some kids suck.
Yeah,
So I would say maybe talk to your mom or your dad.
That's what I was going to say.
Right.
But a different approach. Yeah. Like talk to your mom and ask why.
Right.
You don't
maybe
treat little Bobby the same as little Susie.
Or maybe it is one of those things where subconsciously you're noticing it, but it's not actually happening that way.
Oh, yeah, I do that. I make up scenarios in my head that I like think about them so much that I feel like they're happening and they're not.
I think once, maybe twice a week, I'm like, Ashley hates me.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Not about you, because how could you not hate me or not love me?
You know, I realized something when I was editing the podcast. This is. I think this is what people kind of would like. I noticed maybe 2 weeks ago, I was editing the podcast, and I was having a hard time starting the podcast. And I did it like 3 times.
You did.
And I kept getting angrier and angrier, right? And it was like a subtle angry. It was me frustrated, right?
Yeah, I've never really seen you actually mad.
Oh, yeah, get ready. No, not now. But you will at some point. I couldn't get it started. I was doing the, welcome to how to become blah, 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 that whole thing, which is like a thing.
I don't know.
It's a thing. And I was so frustrated with myself. I was like, I hate this. I hate it. And I think you started to think that maybe you had something to do with it, because watching your camera, you were like real quiet for like a minute. And I was like, Ashley, if I ever make a statement like that, I don't want you to think I'm mad at you. I don't know
if that's how I took it. I think I was just wanting you to have your moment.
Oh, yeah, because I worry that like you would perceive that as, Grant
God,
hates this.
No.
Oh my God, thank you.
No. Oh my God,
Okay,
you're just
good.
mulling that over for 2 weeks while we were apart.
Well, no, I've been because I've been thinking about the podcast, how like approach, all that stuff. And I was like, well, what went wrong that day? And I went back and watched it, and I was like, oh, I just sucked.
So you're right, it's all in your head.
It is.
This guy right here, it's probably all in your head. Just talk to your mother-in-law.
And maybe your mother-in-law will feel bad enough that she'll kind of overcompensate for a little while.
Oh my God, and spoil little Bobby for a little bit there.
So I would say we answered
answered
that question. Good job.
More often than not, my answers to all of these questions are just talk to the person you're asking the question about.
People don't want to talk.
Jeez.
No one wants to talk.
That's all I want to do. I'm an oversharer. I'm over-emotional. I was just talking to someone yesterday about this. Like, I open up way too much. Like, not saying it's a bad thing, but I am an oversharer.
Interesting.
I share everything.
Even
my own mother one time was like, Ashley.
Too much.
Stop.
Dial it back.
You talked about your poop for about 3 days now. Like, you can cool it. Like,
A-bomb, Ashley.
Hey, Tam.
On a sharing, since you overshare, I'm going to tell you something. I've been drinking celery juice for...
You're doing that?
No. I've been doing it for a while.
Can I share something with you?
No. Get ready, because here it is. I have had diarrhea since I started the excursion. Juicing celery?
So you should probably stop.
I mean, here, Ashley, this is an adult conversation we're about to have about poop. I don't mind that.
Oh, I'd rather poop it out than throw it up for sure.
Yeah, and I don't
100%.
mind. And there's something really like exciting about
having diarrhea.
No, about getting like when it's out, you're like, oh God, yeah, I feel great.
Feel lighter, unless your butthole's like stinging because it was that bad.
Well, this is celery. This is just like.
I'm gonna throw up only because
hot water, just gross.
I only have one food that I refuse to eat and I can't stand.
What is it?
And it's celery.
Really?
I hate it.
I don't mind. There's no food that aside from curry.
I love curry.
Ugh.
No, celery is the most disgusting thing on the planet.
It is, but
and you're juicing it voluntarily.
Yeah.
No wonder why it's giving you the shits, because celery is awful.
I feel great.
Do
aside
you?
from the cavalcade of
Can
diarrhea.
I just say, your skin looks great.
Does it?
Like, it looks clear.
I'm feeling healthy.
Glowy.
I got a good beard, good hair. I'm growing it all
let
out.
me tell you, my skin has never been worse. I don't know what's happening.
It's
so bad, and now I don't know if my only option is to juice the one thing that I can't stand the most, because that's gonna suck. If that's my only option, because your skin is glowy and beautiful.
If you like good skin,
plump,
and diarrhea, plump. That's a great way to be described after the holiday. Plump. I feel I've gained so much weight, Ashley.
I actually weighed myself for the first time in 6 months.
Good idea.
I went and visited my best friend. She had a scale in her bathroom.
Oh no.
I've never even. So I'm like, oh, okay. I had like a number in my head of what I weighed, because I know I eat a lot of Taco Bell.
Mm-hmm.
I eat out 4-5 times a week. It's bad. It's a
Me
problem.
too.
So I had a number in my head where I thought it was at, and I stepped on the scale, and it was 15 pounds less.
Nice.
Less.
That's awesome.
And I was like, what? I felt so good about myself. So
you
now
should.
It kind of backfires, because now I'm just eating worse.
So now you go to Taco Bell and you're like, I need 15 pounds of food.
Yeah. So it kind of backfired on me, because this whole time I'm thinking I'm 15 pounds heavier than I am. So I'm like, okay, I really need to like do better. And now I'm like, I'm 15 pounds less. I have all this wiggle room, and I can eat all this extra Ghirardelli chocolates.
Yeah. You look good, Ashley.
Thanks. But
on that note,
I need to cook more this year.
Same.
Yeah.
I got pots and pans.
Oh.
I got really nice.
I was thinking about a little Instant Pot action.
I got.
Have you heard about those?
Yeah.
Instant Pots?
I got a really nice set of pot and pans for my parents. That's such an adult, awesome gift.
Because that's not something you want to buy yourself.
No.
And my dad's in town right now visiting, and he made himself some Spam and eggs yesterday, and he's like, your pants suck dick. And I'm like, well, let's go to the store and buy me some, Dad. If you're going to complain, he's like, no, you can buy. I'm like, no.
I think I got, these are Tefal. Do you know the brand? Tefal? It's like an old... It's like an old school QVC brand that they're now like. They're nice pots and pans. They're nonstick. I made Manhattans. Do you know what a Manhattan is?
I only know it as a drink.
It's It's like a Italian beef sandwich with mashed potatoes and brown gravy.
In the sandwich?
Mashed potatoes. No. You pour it on top.
Oh.
The gravy on top of, and it's just. And I made that with the pots and pans and no stick. Wow. Nothing stuck. Now, Ashley,
in my pans, I make eggs, and half the egg is stuck in the pan, so you get less than half an egg when
so you have to eat it out of the pan.
Then you can't even. So it's just stuck.
It's gross.
All right, I guess I'll buy me some pans.
You know, Ashley, before we get too far into this, we're not experts. We're not professionals.
Oh yeah, I guess as 29 is here, we should probably put our disclaimer out there.
I mean, it's surprising the amount of feedback we get on the podcast, and people, there are people in charge that say we need to say this more.
Oh God.
So, to those listening, Ashley and I are not experts
At
or
all.
medical or mental health professionals. Now,
I'm
with
not
that,
an expert at anything.
Same.
Not like nothing.
Same. You and I, we belong together on this podcast.
Yeah.
Should we get into question 2, Ashley?
All right.
I have a friend who overposts on social media about all the great and creative things they are doing, but they are not doing anything. It drives me crazy. Should I say something?
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I see this having gone to art school of 10 years ago.
You see it a lot.
I see it a lot.
And especially then going to journalism school.
Yeah.
You have all those people posting what they're doing in their career.
And it's not even about what they're doing. I think I understand where this guy's coming from. It's annoying to see people who say they're doing things who aren't doing those, or you have no evidence. It's like if somebody says on Instagram, oh man, this is going to be the most creative. What a creative time in my life. And then they post a picture of them sitting. You're just like, why talk about being creative? Why not just be creative and let that speak for itself? But
I have a but too, like a big one.
I feel like a lot of people put the cart in front of the horse, and they talk about all the creative things, and that uses that energy that gives them that dopamine response of being being
doing it.
Yeah. So I think those people know 100% that they're not fooling themselves or anyone else. I have yet
that self-aware.
I have yet to meet. I was called pretentious when I was 17 years old.
I can see that.
Because of a song I wrote, and this guy that I really respected told me, God, the lyrics are so pretentious. What do you know about this? What is this? This isn't your life. This isn't. And I was like, dude, I wrote this song. How is it pretentious? And I was like, what have you done? And he had no music. He had no anything to show me, except he had to offer that criticism of how pretentious I was being. Mm-hmm. Where I was like, hey, check this cool thing out. And he's like,
you're so excited about it.
He like scoffs. And it's like, I don't ever want to do that to anyone else.
No.
So I don't ever want to say to anyone in front of them, just be creative. Don't fucking talk about it. Just be creative. If you're gonna
really know if that's your place to tell someone that.
Right. Yeah. And it's not,
especially because it sounds like these people aren't best friends.
Right.
The way that he phrased the question doesn't seem.
There's people we know that post a lot on social media, and it's like there's awesome things you can do, like mute people. I don't know. Do you mute people on Instagram?
This is my advice for this guy.
Okay, let's hear it.
Before we get into that question,
hammer it.
Get over yourself.
The person posting or the
person asking this question.
Okay.
If you don't like seeing this on your Instagram, guess what? Unfollow them.
There you go.
Block them. Guess what? It's their social media. Mm-hmm. They can post whatever the hell they want on their account.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I have so many people that will post on their stories like, oh my God, this is so annoying. Why is this person posting? I'm like, then unfollow them. Like, they can post whatever they want.
Yes.
And how people are like clowning people for posting recaps of their whole 2018. And how they're annoyed by people having too long of stories.
Oh.
Then delete them!
See, that's there's days like Christmas, there's days like Thanksgiving, there's New Year's, there's Valentine's Day. Yeah, they're going to post a shit ton.
And if you're going to get annoyed at that, stay
mute
off
them.
social media or delete the person that you're annoyed with.
Or now.
I'm sorry, this guy's annoying me for asking this question. And I love you. Thank you for asking it. But if you're annoyed by it that much that you have to ask into a podcast what you should do about it, delete that person.
Exactly. And I would say...
And yes, to answer your question, I have muted people on Instagram.
Yeah, it's
because
the best.
I don't want to see 20 posts a day of their baby.
It's the best.
So I delete them because I don't want to see their child.
Right.
Yes. I'm taking off my jacket.
No,
I'm
good.
Hot.
I love it. I love it. Ashley's fired. You're fired up in a different reason than I am.
Oh my God, I'm hot.
You're fired up because you're saying this person asking the question is kind of being silly for just not ignoring it.
This isn't a problem.
I agree with that 100%. The only reason it becomes a problem is if you let it become a problem.
Exactly. And there's a block button for a reason.
If there's a way for you to potentially feel better about it by posting actual creativity, like maybe your friend will see that and be like, "Oh wow, you're so much more productive than I am."
Reverse psychology.
And you don't talk about it. Why don't you talk about how creative you are? I think that's kind of a good way.
Like, I'm a firm believer in don't post about what you're doing until it's like done already.
Yes.
Like if you have something secret and huge like a promotion or like you're applying for this new thing, like don't tell anyone about it until it happens.
Like a music video I'm shooting with Suzette Rodriguez tomorrow. That's coming out on my birthday.
Exactly. It's already happened when this is posted.
Hopefully.
God, we probably just jinxed it. Suzette's like, I gotta cancel.
Yeah,
bro.
she's like, no thanks.
Actually, 2019, I'm too big for you. So.
Dude, fair. I mean, she's a huge get.
Yeah, she's gotta get that bread, man.
I was gonna ask you.
You're not giving her.
I was gonna be like, well, I think Ashley should be in it, but then I got Suzette.
You're good. You're fine. I don't take it personal.
There's too many powerful women in my videos already. In all my videos, it's like a woman is either doing something.
I mean, you definitely have a theme you stick with.
Yeah. I respect powerful women.
Hell yeah.
And that's what, honestly, I'm so excited for everybody. I'm going to do exactly whatever. I'm so creative, everyone. Should we answer? Should we?
I think we did. Block the person or get over yourself.
Or mostly get over yourself. Always get over yourself.
Yes.
That's usually a good place to start.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Ashley,
that was a fun
should we
question.
get a 3?
I'm kind of sweaty, but okay.
My upstairs neighbor apparently got a new subwoofer for Christmas. Every night from 6 to 9 is loud music shaking my apartment. Do I ask him to turn it down or report him to the office?
If it's not during quiet hours,
6 to 9,
you can't really do anything about it.
But
if it is during quiet hours, I would say talk to them personally about it first.
But what?
Do you knock on their door? Like, how do you do that?
I've had this happen so many times in apartments.
I've only lived in an apartment for 1 year.
Oh, okay.
In my whole life.
My first apartment ever.
And we were on the top floor.
Oh, okay. The first night The first night of my apartment, I set up a sound system because I didn't realize as a 20.
Sound carries.
And this was a sub, and it was just like, boom, and the guy called the police on me. My downstairs neighbor, first, maybe second night, called the police on me.
So would you have rather him come up and knock on your door and talk to you personally?
And because I didn't even understand that the bass was projecting down.
That's the thing. I feel like some people don't really notice how loud they're being.
Yes. But now, as an adult, as a soon-to-be 33-year-old man, I don't plug in my subwoofers in my apartments. I unplug the sub.
You're nice and you're caring.
And it's like, because you don't want to, that's such an awkward conversation when somebody comes to you and says, hey.
And it's like the first time you've ever spoken.
Yeah, hey, oh my God. Because it's like, I've wanted to tell people, your music taste is fucking terrible. Terrible. Like, I remember I had do you remember when the first Kesha album came out?
Okay, I love that album.
Okay, it's amazing. And I love it. I love Kesha.
I love old Kesha.
Yeah, the new
Kesha.
ballads, pass. Write some fun songs. Come on.
Like My Love Is Your Drug. Like,
yeah, come on, TikTok.
Song.
TikTok. Oh, yeah, I Like Your Beard. Isn't that the end of that song? Where she goes,
oh my God, yeah.
Oh my God, I love your beard.
Oh my God, I love your beard. I forgot about that.
So the other night, it was like, just imagine. Yeah, it doesn't really carry this way. But just imagine it was like, and then like every once in a while, it'd just be like the snare.
At your place?
Just through the walls. And awesome, my cat is in her cat tree, which is up by the ceiling. And she's just looking at me like, are you going to take care of this?
Did you?
No.
Oh, you just let it go?
No, because I was.
What time was it?
It was probably 6, 7 o'clock.
At night?
Yeah.
Or in the morning?
At night.
I feel like there's nothing you can really do if it's.
But I mean, could just say, dude, like, your subwoofer sucks.
Yeah.
It's killing me.
I would go talk to him personally.
But then what if it's like, for example,
like they shoot him?
What if the person asking this question, what if this person is like a 22-year-old girl who's maybe petite, maybe not a person like me going to the door and saying, hey, could you turn it down? What if you're afraid, or
write a note and slide it under their door?
Is that creepy?
I don't think so.
I guess because you're asking that, maybe tape it. Maybe put a little piece of Scotch tape and just say, "Hey, I'm your down." Maybe
just
don't
so
even.
They're aware of it because they're probably not even aware.
Right. Maybe don't even say, if you're leaving a note. Maybe don't even say who it's from.
No, I wouldn't.
Just say, "Hey, Happy New Year. Do you think maybe you could turn your subwoofer down a little bit?"
And you know what I always like to do? Embellish and lie just to make your situation seem worse for them. Like, hey, dude, I work nights, so I sleep during the day. I'm an ER nurse. Like, lie something just to make them feel extra shitty that they're being rude. And it's one of those things we do. I do morning radio. Early. So by 6 o'clock, you're ready to go to bed. I could imagine that's just awful to me. So they don't know, because my husband, he sleeps during the day, and there's a dog that just barks constantly in our neighborhood. We can't figure out whose it is, and we don't even know what to do about it. But it's like, I get it. It sucks. God, why would... I don't understand. The people who live in apartments and I can hear their dogs barking when they're not home, it makes me so sad. And it's like they don't know that they're barking. Right. And it makes me sad for the owner. It makes me sad for the dog and the neighbors, because it's just like the dog doesn't realize that you have to go to work. People. And also he doesn't realize he's annoying. Right. He just wants attention and wants love. And unless that owner has a camera, they have no idea that their dog barks all day while they're at work. Which I just got a dog camera. Is it worth it, or do you find yourself? I think so, because I got 2 alerts today at noon and 1 that said my dog was barking. So, and I'm like, oh, he does bark when I'm not home. It's like, I just think about my cat when I leave, just walking around. That's why I just got a camera, because I just want to know what he's doing. No, I just imagine her walking around. Grant? You don't think she calls you dad? No, we're ruined. She's 35. Are you sure? We're the same age. Like she would say dad. Dad? That makes me even sadder. I think it's sweet. It's like she's an angel. When she comes in the middle of the night. Dad? Yeah, she's not saying Grant. She's saying dad. Hey, guy? No. Hey, guy, I'm hungry. Hey, feed me, bitch. She has no idea. Oh, I got a cramp. I might be having diarrhea. Oh, no. Your celery juice is kicking in. Oh, I got a cramp in bed last night. They're the worst. I wasn't doing anything, but it was one abdominal muscle. Just it's like I had It's the celery juice.
It just goes, and it just got crampy. Big,
that happens
knotty.
to me, but it's like a big, giant gas bubble. I just have to wait for it to come out. Yeah, take some Gas X, and 30 minutes later, it's go time.
Do you have to take indigestion medicine as an adult? Like Pepsid AC?
I keep Gas X on deck all the time.
So you struggle more with like gas than you do indigestion.
Or it feels like I can't breathe and my stomach hurts so bad. And then one day I realized, oh my God, it's gas.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, I keep
have some in my purse if you ever need it. Come find me.
See, I'm less gassy, more a Zantac type of fella.
What is that?
Like I need heartburn relief.
See, I've never had heartburn in my life, but I've heard it's awful. And like my husband has acid reflux, and I've heard that's terrible.
Isn't that the same?
Like my friend works in a ER, and she said people come in all the time thinking they have heart attacks, but it's just acid reflux.
No, I've literally had times where I've been sitting on my couch.
And you thought you were gonna die of a heart attack.
And I was like, I think I'm having a heart attack.
This is it.
And then
how I go.
And then I take like a Pepsid 150, and it immediately you feel it working, and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing.
It works that fast?
It's not that quick.
Oh.
Some heartburn medicine.
You're embellishing your story.
Yeah.
To make people feel
bad
for you.
What did we answer that guy's question? Talk to him. Don't call the police.
I wouldn't unless he's being a super dick about it. Like after a month of you already like talking to him.
And then call the apartment complex because
before you call the police.
You don't want a problem with a neighbor above you. That sucks.
Where you have like a house war.
And then you have to worry about seeing them in the hallway. Like that's no fun.
Like yeah.
I've lived at places
your
like
cat
that.
when you're not at work. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No.
Just friendly talk about it.
I think we answered it.
I think we did pretty good for having 2 weeks off of not answering questions.
I feel like we're right
like
back on it.
I was nervous having 12 days off coming back. I don't even know how to talk into a mic, but I think we did it.
I think you've evolved as a woman. You're really blossoming.
Thank you. I mean, you're older now, so
you're so talented. You're so talented.
But the real question is, is Andrew Tam working in 2019 to get us some goddamn sponsors?
I'm glad you asked. Andrew worked really hard over break. He kind of
because he has all this free time now that he doesn't have a girlfriend. So he just has all this free time to get us sponsors.
I just enjoy the idea of Andrew sitting like maybe Andrew's in his bathtub. Maybe he's taking a bath.
With a bath bomb and some candles.
and his drone. And he's listening.
Oh my God,
he's got the podcast on his Bluetooth and he's like
he's
like they're talking about me. And then we bring up immediately that he's single.
After he finally got it out of his head for at least 40 minutes and then I just came in and ruined it. Sorry, Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew has been working. I know he's had a couple of drone competitions. He's been. Did you know that?
It looks like he's getting into filmography or whatever that's called now. Because
it's like stay in your lane.
He went up to snowboarding and he recorded and did a vlog. And I'm like, okay, you need to pick one: drones or vlogging, because it's getting a little iffy here.
Why couldn't he incorporate? Why hasn't there been any drone work in his vlogs?
Drone shots in his. I was waiting, and you know why? I was tricked. I watched his entire
clickbait
2-minute-long video of him going up to Flagstaff in his dad's Range Rover, and he didn't have any drone shots.
Oh, you want to know the horse shit? Seriously, this got me.
He made it seem like the Range Rover was his.
He cut this whole video. We're talking about Andrew, our salesperson, by the way. Andrew made a video before we left for Christmas. And I watched that thing probably, it was on his stories. So it just kept going through. And I think you were in it a couple times.
Wait, I was?
It was like here around work, all the Christmas trees and all the stuff and people having fun eating. Maybe you weren't. Maybe you didn't make the cut. And I sent him a message that said, I watched this whole thing like 3 times. And I walked up to his camera and I said something like Merry Christmas, blah, 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 hey.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, oh, great. I'm definitely going to make Andrew's video because,
cut you.
Yeah, I got cutting room floored by Andrew Tam.
Wow.
So he felt like he had to make up for it this week. So he got us a big sponsor.
Okay. Now we're talking.
So the how to become a terrible person today is brought to you by O'Ronnie. Have you heard of Ronnie?
Isn't it Roni?
No, it's Ronnie. It's actually spelled Ronnie.
Oh, like the name.
Yeah, so Ronnie. And it's this guy Ronnie who lives in Santa Barbara, and he has a full rice bagging and boxing deal in his garage. So, and I mean, you could probably pick it up if you live in Chico, California. You could probably pick it up pretty easily. But Ronnie does it all. He does Spanish rice. He does jasmine rice. He does brown rice, sticky rice, and he just introduced for 2019 dirty rice.
Oh, wait, so no quinoa or anything?
It's not quinoa or Ronnie.
Okay, but you know
Ashley.
where the whole community's going healthy. I wasn't sure.
No, this is like there's like 4 sticks of butter melted into all of this rice. It's just
That's
fatty.
Not correct.
Yeah. Well, I mean, whoa. So you're not.
No.
You disagree with Ronnie.
I don't like when people put butter in their rice. Okay.
Our sponsor.
Every time I would go over to my friend's house, she would make white rice and put like sticks of butter in there. I'm like, what are you doing?
Did she ever make dirty rice? Do you know what dirty rice is? I just found out.
I don't like it. I'm a traditionalist. I like white steamed rice.
I like fried. I like really fried.
But you need,
Thai, like just.
But you need white rice as your base for that.
Right.
Exactly.
But I want like soy
but
sauce.
But not with butter.
Not with butter.
No.
So Ronnie's really excited about his 2019 this dirty rice.
Good for Ronnie.
He wants because normally obviously dirty rice is rice with
What makes it dirty?
I'm glad you asked. There's
I don't know if I should have asked that.
It's like carrots and peas. I think there's a couple used AAA batteries in there. Butter for sure. Lot like whatever the butter content is in the Spanish and jasmine, it's double in the dirty rice.
Okay.
I think it's to offset the batteries.
Got it.
To Ronnie.
Andrew.
Check out Ronnie. I was given no web information, no sales information.
Good luck. Find it on your own.
Rice Ronnie with many different varieties: Spanish, jasmine, brown, sticky, wild. Ooh, wild. That's with hot sauce.
That Ronnie's one wild guy.
That is with hot. Ronnie is fucking crazy, guys. I hate our sponsors lately.
Happy New Year.
This sucks. Andrew, stop taking baths with your drone. I'm thinking about how sweet it is to be single, right?
Do you think he's ready to mingle, or is he like mull it over?
How long do you think it would be appropriate for somebody? How long is appropriate? Like if you break up, not
wait in between.
You haven't had to deal with a whole lot of this. So what is your? Yeah,
I think it depends how long you were together. It's different for everyone. Like if you were together for 7 years, then you start dating someone a week later. That's a little.
That's a rebound thing.
But I mean, it's your life.
Right.
Do whatever you want. No judgment from me.
And nobody made any hard and fast rules about when it's okay to get married or when it's okay to date after you get like that.
I think it's a little stricter when the person actually dies and you were like with them when they died, and then like what if they died and then a week later you're already with someone? That's weird because they died.
So okay.
But if you were just dating,
so if I were dating a woman, we were together and she died mysteriously, and like it wouldn't be a good idea. Like let's say I was already let's say we were on the outs, my wife and I.
Oh,
I'm
so
not married.
now you're married.
Right.
That changes the
no.
entire ballgame.
Okay. Then let's say this. Let's say you're with you're with a girl for like 4 years. You're living together. She dies, but things were kind of rough at the end. Maybe
you were gonna break up with her anyways.
Yeah,
because she just happened to die.
Yeah, maybe you both weren't getting along, but you were like landlocked in a lease.
Shit.
What if she died, and then you were to like be like, well, I've kind of already been dating for a while.
And you see what I'm saying? The situation's different from everyone.
But
so
would you judge
really
that? Would you
anyone.
judge me if my girlfriend died?
I would judge you if you were dating someone when you were with someone else.
Right.
Yes, I would judge you. I would judge anyone for cheating.
Right.
Unless you physically break up with that person verbally, you're not.
Do you want to hear something crazy? I don't know if I should say this, but I'm going to.
Okay. If this makes it in, you'll know if you didn't cut it out.
So we graduated the same night.
Uh-huh.
I was dating a girl the day before,
and
I broke up with her because we were only together for like maybe like 2 months, and it wasn't really great. But there was another girl at graduation who was like, if you weren't taken, maybe we could, And so literally I was like, well, I'm not going to cheat on this girl.
You broke up with
I broke up with
for
one
the
girl
other.
literally for like a one night thing.
And I
I
commend you on that.
Yeah, I split.
For breaking up with
and
her.
it sucked. I didn't like breaking up with her, but do you know what I did like?
Hooking up with the other girl.
That's right. No, it was pretty good.
No, I commend you because a lot of guys wouldn't have broken up with their.
I just can't.
current.
I've never cheated. I'm not into it. I hate it.
That's why I like you.
Oh, ugh, you're the worst. I'm just kidding. No. Did you have a good Christmas? Did you have a nice time?
It's all right. I've had better.
Do you have anything you want to say to all the responsible how to become a terrible person people? Anything you want to say?
I hate celery.
I hate celery.
That's all we can take away from this episode.
Is that Ashley hates celery?
And I hate when you judge people online when you can just unfollow them instead of being a judgy.
But there is
judge or sin.
Isn't there something really satisfying about being like, oh, fuck that guy?
Oh, I specifically have a girl on my Instagram that I cannot stand and I hate with all of my being, but I purposely don't unfollow her just so I can complain to myself about her.
But
pictures.
it's fun just to kind of it's fun when somebody goes when somebody else follows that person and you guys bump into each other and you're like, so-and-so posted. And they're like, oh my God, you hate that too?
Tragic, yeah. You can bond over it for
You
sure.
really can.
So she's like the one person I kind of keep just to keep myself in check. Like, oh, wow, see, I do have it pretty good. But everyone else.
Isn't that weird when you have people in your life that you only have in your life so you feel better? That's awesome.
Pretty sure it's the same person. Like, you know who I'm talking about.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so that's that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I thought you were going a different direction.
Oh, no, you know who it is.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's fun.
Well, that's how to become a terrible person.
910-557-2871.
I'm a terrible person.
910-557-2871. Send us your pictures, your questions. I don't know what I'm.
Oh my God! Can people send us pictures to that number?
Yeah, send us anything. Call that number. I have that. That number comes through to my phone.
Please send us pictures.
And if you want, I can't guarantee I'll answer, but if I see it come in and it doesn't look like a creditor, I will answer it.
And he's not in a bathtub.
Oh no!
On Instagram Live.
There's a drummer that I follow. His name's Tim, and he's in Wisconsin. And I was in the bathtub, and he posted this thing, and he's got like a lot of followers. He's a big time drummer.
Uh-huh.
And he said, "Hey, call this number."
You called it?
I called the number, and I talked to Tim for like an hour and a half.
What?
And he was like, "Next time I'm in Phoenix, man, I'll just swing by. We can.
That is so cool.
So
we could make friends with people.
Yeah.
Send us pictures. Call us.
Send us. Do you have anything? Let's see. You like dogs?
I do. So send us dogs and cats. Send some cats for Grant.
And we'll decide.
I've already been DMing a few people that listen. I talked to one girl about makeup brushes.
What?
That was really fun. Yeah.
And people message you?
Yeah.
That's nice. People message me too and say, "Hey, I like it."
It's so great. I love it. Like, it makes me so happy.
It's weird.
It is weird, but I love it. So, I mean, keep them coming, man.
910-557-2871. Ashley Footer on all the social medias.
Mm-hmm.
I am at Pomo and Kitsch, and we want to thank Ronnie.
I don't, but Grant does. I do not want to thank him.
That wild, dirty.
And I'm gonna go have a chat with Andrew to get moving.
I'm gonna skip.
2019, he needs to pick it up.
I'm gonna skip the chat, and I'm just gonna key his car.
Oh, you mean his dad's Range Rover? You're gonna key his dad's.
I'm gonna key it with a drone. I'm just gonna fly it next to it. Yeah.
You should write, "Stay in your lanes. Vlogs are mine. Stick to your drone footage."
How to Become a Terrible Person, 910-557-2871. Thank you so much for listening and watching.
We love you.
Yes. I'm done.
Go eat your celery juice.
Yeah, okay, goodbye.
Enjoy your diarrhea.